Yo, what's good guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Today we have a first impression on a shoe that matches this hoodie, and it's the Nike PG3, at least the NASA colorway.
So they're not all going to be NASA colorways?
Are you being serious or are you trolling right now?
I was being serious.
You're being for real?
Yeah.
You think that this one theme is going to span across
I think they should just carry it.
How? Going to be a silver one?
And a blue one. But the traction is like the moon.
Can we like do the first impression in order?
I'm just saying.
She's new at this. So the Nike PG3 looks very close to the Nike PG2. I ain't even gonna lie. You can't front on that. You cannot deny that fact. But the PG2 was awesome. So what they actually did was they took what worked from that model, they moved it over, or granted, they didn't move really anything. They just kind of like redid a little bit of the things that may have not worked as nicely. So the traction is one of those things, although I thought that the traction on the PG2 was really, really good, especially comparing it to the PG1, which also had good traction, but the PG2 just kind of like took it up a notch. The PG3, once again, looks like it levels it up just a bit. It looks very similar to what we just saw unveiled on the Russell Westbrook shoe, the Why Not 02. A bunch of little circles everywhere. And you know, look, from a first impression standpoint, I'm never mad at circles because that's multi-directional coverage. So it's gonna cover from all angles no matter what you're doing. And that's exactly what the designer said while talking about that kind of like circle or moon landing kind of like implementation of traction. So I'm not mad at that. And I've been playing in the Why Not 02s and the traction on those things is incredible. So, I mean, if it works, why not? No pun intended.
Ba-dum-bum.
Now the cushion on the PG3 is something that they definitely did not change. We still have the same exact cushion setup as the previous two. This one being a little bit closer to the last model, the PG2 or 2.5, whichever one you want to consider. We have a large volume 4-foot Zoom Air unit, whereas the rest of the midsole is just Phylon. Something that they did actually change with the Phylon itself is the density of it. So this one's going to be a little bit softer than last year's model. You should get a little bit more kind of like smooth transition with that from heel to forefoot for anybody that happens to strike with their heel. Not only that, but it'll also be a little bit more forgiving in the forefoot area, so you should be able to feel the 4-foot Zoom Air just a little bit more than you did last year. Cushion in the PG2 I thought was awesome, so I'm expecting it to be just as good in the PG3, possibly even a little bit lighter because of the softer foam. Again, for something like that, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm not mad about it. I think that it's awesome. Something that I think is interesting amongst sneakerheads is that they're always like clamoring for like, why don't you give us something different? And I'm just like, bro, like when we were growing up with Nike, there was two cushion systems. There was Air and then there was Zoom Air. Do you know how many times they used Air? Every time. It was their thing. They used it in every model. They use it either in the forefoot or in the heel, sometimes both, sometimes full length, but I mean, it's their thing. It's what they do.
I think each brand does that.
It depends. Like Adidas kind of goes back and forth. Brands without established, like the Wade brand did it, like they kind of like were doing the same thing, then they did something different with the 6, so everybody was like, yo, cool. Like on the flip side, people are now expecting that for the next model, which for the 7 they didn't do, so it's kind of, and then people are like disappointed that they didn't reuse it. So it's like you can never really make anybody happy. Now the materials look pretty cheap. They look lightweight, but they also look cheap, especially on this colorway. There was, I'm not allowed to say anything, but there's gonna be that are not NASA colorways. And those guys are gonna have better materials from what we've been told. If you wanted to get that hyped, limited energy launch colorway, then go for it. They drop on the 26th, have at it. If you wanted to wait for something just a little bit different, maybe something that's gonna be more in line with what the general versions are gonna have, then wait till February 1st. That's when the rest of the colorways, or at least another colorway, will hit. But we didn't tell you that.
They'll have a new colorway that quickly, or they'll just announce a new colorway?
Well, they want to announce it when they want to announce it.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying they will announce it after this shoe releases because they want people to buy that shoe. They don't want people to worry about what's coming up after it. This is why they don't like leaks and stuff like that. They want the mindless ones to be like, oh, limited, oh, new release, you know what I mean? They want them to go all scoop them up and stuff, and then like people that actually like are logical are just like, wait a minute, bro, there's gonna be better ones. There's gonna be other ones that just sit, gonna get discounted, just chill out. You don't have to go all zombied out and shit, you know what I mean? Like Walking Dead over to Foot Locker and shit, you know, NASA. But the materials overall are textile, it's a mesh. Again, just like the PG2, lightweight, breathable, flexible, very little break-in time. Durable, I haven't seen any PG2s with ripped mesh. So I'm assuming that this is durable. I never had an issue with my personal pair, so I'm just kind of guessing that that's what it is. You can also see synthetic overlays. They're not fused, they're just kind of like synthetic leathers. That's like a very loose term, especially on this colorway, I think they're more like vinyl, which is like 100% synthetic. They want it to like kind of like feel like leather a little bit, but I don't think that leather or synthetic leather is like the right word.
Is it supposed to kind of be like the flight suits?
For this colorway, yes. So
well, you wouldn't wear leather in space.
No, I know, but like still, like this, that's what I mean by like wait for the other colorways, especially if you're a performance guy. Like if you're a collector, this shoe's for you. I joke about the zombie thing. Hopefully people don't take offense to it. Collectors, like this NASA shoe, this NASA launch,
yes,
that's for you guys. If you like to hoop in shoes just because you want to get that first launch, which is for somebody like me, like the first Air Jordan colorway is always like kind of special just because it's the first one. Not so much anymore. I remember like a random Jordan, the Jordan 20 and the 21. When both of those came out, they were in that kind of clean white, black, and red look. And I was always like, oh, I don't know, like I want to like wait for maybe the next one. And then you end up skipping the release altogether and then you regret being like, yo, that colorway was it. I get it on both sides. This shoe for me, like I just feel like this is more towards the collector. But yes, those little panels are to mimic the flight suit or the space suit, something that performance people really don't care about because it's a lame story. Like, I think it's great that they're tying it back to his hometown and all that stuff. But honestly, like if you play basketball, you just want to play basketball on these. Like they look like a fun shoe. I am a little bit disappointed that the forefoot kind of like adaptive fit straps are not really straps anymore. They're more like kind of like stitched on to the forefoot area. The last ones were independent. The first one had an actual strap that you can adjust. And these guys are just kind of like sewn on there as like overlays. This is almost like a reverting back to the old school way of doing things where you sew on overlays and they are meant to do essentially the same thing. So overall, those are pretty much my thoughts. I don't think much has changed, therefore I don't think the overall performance from the last model is going to change too much. However, I do think that the one area that is definitely going to see or feel like it's different noticeably will be the traction. I think that the traction on these things is going to be like awesome. Now, those are my thoughts. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it over to the WearTesters Instagram. Let's go.
Christian BNH says, love how it's an evolutionized version of the 2, as you would say. You see it and you're like, oh, that's the new Paul George shoe.
I agree. Although when I did see this for the first time, and it was not during the press release, I saw it a few weeks ago, I did think that it was the 2. I was like, are you sure that that's the 3? Like I had to because they were fuzzy images and stuff. I saw it from a friend of mine that had seen it and he was showing me like some video footage and stuff and like they were showing me the thing and like I was kind of like, bro, that looked like the 2, like quit playing. And then like when they finally showed me the close-ups, I was like, oh, okay. Again, I'm partial, like I'm not 100% for that because I do understand why some people, and there are a lot of people that are just like, it's a PG2. They're legit mad. And they say that there is no evolution. That's the part that I disagree with because there is evolution. It's visual. I think that it's a good thing. I think that taking what does work, putting it on the new model, and then fine-tuning the things that weren't as good or as good as they could be. Because like I said, I think that the PG2 traction is really good. I thought it was better than the first one. Can you make it better? Of course. And so I think that that's what they're doing.
Chris Dimes says, looks better in these promo pics. Also, I didn't like it at all until I saw it in the game tonight on PG's feet. Looks much better. I'll give him a chance once I see them in person. Of course, this is all aesthetics talk. LOL.
What the hell was that?
I'll cut
what
that.
the hell was that?
That was me giving it more
Isn't it weird how an on foot changes everything? Because it happens to me too. Not only that, but like in person, things will happen like, or not things will happen, but like
things are happening.
Yeah, things are happening. But in person, like you'll see things and you're just like, oh, that's cool.
If anything, I sometimes will have the opposite where I'll like it in pictures and then I'll see them in person. I'm like,
that's
you
because
did a good job there.
Well, no, like that's with the color thing. These colors in these official doctored images, like heavily photoshopped to match that NASA theme, they definitely do look good, but just raw, the shoes are bright and almost annoying, like that Puma shoe, the Disrupt, that neon colorway.
Yes.
That's what it looks like. And so some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it, but the on foot thing can change someone's mind in a matter of 2 seconds.
I am Owen Jeremiah says, I think PG3s are staying true to the line. Basic and reliable. With that said, I hope the price point remains the same.
Did he say basic? Remember how you were telling me like basic can be like...
Basic's mean.
Yeah, and I don't think the 1 was basic. I think the 1 was surprising. For $110, that shoe, the materials, the strap, like everything was like, yo, for $110, Nike nailed it. And then the 2 came out and I was just kind of like, materials not quite as nice, but I could see what they were doing. Basic would be a good way to describe the PG2, especially compared to the 1. Like the 1 had that rear panel with the suede or the nubuck that they had on there, depending on the color, and some of them were leather, was so nice for a $110 shoe. And then moving on to the 2, PG2, it was all synthetic, and I was just kind of like, wow, what happened there? You went from exceeding my expectation to like you didn't even meet it the next time around to now it definitely basic, and I don't think that's a good thing. The tech features are what's not basic. The tech features I think are solid, and that's overall what counts. However, for an increased price, I think that you need to step it up. Because that's the thing that I don't like with any brand, especially if we're talking about a line, is if you have a product and then there's a price point, and then the next year the price point's up. I don't care if the player is an all-star next year. I'm not buying the player, I'm buying the shoe.
Well, that's what I think is, don't skimp on what you're giving us. First of all, don't skimp from the beginning.
Correct.
But then as the player grows, you need to keep giving high quality.
That's what I'm saying. And so, but the thing that the shoe brands do though, they don't do that usually. They just increase price.
Well, I think that's unacceptable.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying though, is that when you're talking about the third iteration, you're using the word basic and the price is increased, I don't think that's a good mix. Even though the shoe might be great on court. Granted, it's cheaper than a lot of other shoes, but that shouldn't be the comparative standard right there. It's like, well, it's cheaper than the rest.
Kev Fennel says, I'm actually digging that black circular traction pattern on the NASA pair. It appears that the press pics I've seen that the 4-foot zoom is a little larger. The designer said they also softened up the midsole so these could be comfy and responsive on feet. Still no heel zoom though, bummer.
I think heel cushion is
overrated.
Yeah, you know this too.
Yes.
You're a runner.
Yes, and I don't use my heel for anything.
Ever.
Ever.
And that's all I'm saying. And what does basketball involve?
Being
A ton of running. Yeah, and changing direction.
Yeah.
The only thing that you're using your heel for is to brake, or to slow down real quick. Whether you're going to go for a lay-in or you're backpedaling and all of a sudden you need to ease up a little bit on D or whatever, which could be dangerous because like if somebody's coming at you real hard, you can get caught real quick and you can start slipping. But heel cushion, definitely overrated. And so I just think that the focus should always be on primary, like premium 4-foot cushion. But at the same time, there's lots of footwear options. I say this regularly, or I haven't said it in a while, but I used to say it regularly. There is not a single basketball shoe or any shoe made for everyone. Like this one shoe isn't gonna be perfect across the board, because it's just not. There's a shoe though, for everyone. There is one shoe out there designed specifically with your tastes or your needs on court or off court or in the gym or on the trail, on the track, whatever it is, whatever sport you play. There is a shoe designed for exactly what you're looking for. You just have to be able to know what you're looking for and then find that shoe. The thing that sucks with performance footwear like this that's signature is that it's not even a matter of it's designed for the athlete, because that's not true. It's got the athlete's name and there are little things in there that the athlete might have wanted, but it's not designed specifically. Like you can ask any designer, because I've asked them and they've said straight up, we're trying to give a product to the public that the public will want. The name on it is different, but the problem is that when you do put the name on it, it makes people want that shoe. It doesn't matter if that shoe's not good for you, you want it, and that will blind somebody. It can also make you not want it. Like I've seen people that are either Kobe or LeBron haters or whatever, and they're just like, I'm never gonna buy that shoe because I don't like LeBron. And I'm just like, but what if the shoe is really good? And what if that shoe is like perfect for you? No, well, dude, that sucks, man. Like you just like totally missed out on something that was like perfect for you, all because somebody's name was slapped on it. Same thing like the other way where you're buying this shoe and you're just like, bro, they're too narrow, I don't like this, I don't like that. And I'm like, well, why did you buy it? Because, man, I love Kyrie, or I love this, or I love that. And it's just like, well, what did you expect, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like you didn't like care about yourself in that point. Like you only cared about the name attached to it. So I think that when you talk about performance footwear, you got to be almost selfish to the point where you got to make sure that you meet your budget. And that's probably the first thing, because once you have your budget, because that's the one thing that's not going to change, then you find a product that matches that within your budget, like with your other needs. You know what I'm saying? So like.